Brazos County will meet regular session on May 29, 2018, 10 a.m. Commissioners Court Room, County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is the invocation, pledge of allegiance of the U.S. and Texas flag. Commissioner Calder, please.
You'll follow with me. Father God, we thank you for this day and for all your blessings. We thank you for the opportunity to serve, and we pray that you will grant us your wisdom, courage, and allow us to make the best decisions in every circumstance to glorify you and to do right by our fellow man. Thank you for the service of our first responders, our sheriffs, and all law enforcement officers. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us an opportunity to serve in this great nation, and this great Brazos County. These blessings we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and/or concerns. I think we have one citizen, Ms. Wood.
I'll give you this when I'm done. Good morning, Judge Peters and Commissioners. I'm here today for two reasons. First, I'd like to personally thank the county for completing Mesa Verde extension to Highway 6. A number of Nantucket residents came before the court to request assistance in stopping our unsafe cut-through traffic from Indian Lakes. By the completion of Mesa Verde, Indian Lakes no longer has a need to cut through Nantucket. We can't begin to thank the county enough for that roadway. Second, future Nantucket roadway safety concerns on a number of our neighborhood streets once Margraves Ranch future minor collector and development are built. We are trying to get ahead of this problem, so there will be options of how to fix the problem if and when it happens. Naturally, we will be happy if it doesn't become a problem. But if the traffic counts aren't done now, how will we, the county and Nantucket, know there is an issue and how and where to fix it? The background history of this is, as you know, a small group of Nantucket residents started in 2015 to focus on Nantucket-specific roadway safety issues. At that time, our biggest issue was Indian Lakes cut-through traffic. That issue fixed with Indian Lakes now having direct access to Highway 6 via Mesa Verde, or no longer needs us. Back in 2003, the Nantucket neighborhood worked long and hard with the city to move a future minor collector 1,500 feet north on Arrington instead of aligning with Harper's Ferry because of the concern of cut-through traffic. Then in October 2017, the county decided to move that same future city minor collector back and align it with Harper's Ferry without any neighborhood input. The county presented a traffic demand model that only addressed city minor collectors, South Oaks, Nantucket, and Harper's Ferry. By not including Misty Lane, Sandpiper Cove, and Barnstable Harbor, it wasn't a complete study of the impacts to Nantucket neighborhood. On February 27th, the county held a public meeting to present and discuss Arrington Road reconstruction plans to the neighborhood. At this meeting, the need for traffic counts was discussed, documented in a February 28th email, and confirmed by the county in a March 1st email, saying we will carry out these traffic counts requested at the timelines and locations mentioned above. Item 3 of that list, traffic counts, was for 4574 and 4590 Sandpiper Cove. It was 2 locations because you can go 2 ways to get to Harper's Ferry from Highway 6, to Harbor's Ferry with using Sandpiper Cove and the Misty Lane intersection. A traffic count was done for 4590 Sandpiper Cove as promised. For a better understanding of the street layouts, I'm putting a Nantucket map in the package for the record so you can see the roads we're talking about. Since we've been told that the buck stops with the Commissioner's Court, we appreciate your time and consideration to the following. As residents of Brazos County, Precinct 1, we are here to request the promised traffic count at 4574 Sandpiper Cove be completed. If not, then supply us with a complete explanation as to how the county has all it needs to guarantee a baseline on all potential impacted streets, Misty Lane, Sandpiper Cove, and Barnstable, for future discussions on roadway safety issues. Thank you for your time and consideration, and we look forward to hearing from the court.
Thank you. As you know, this is citizens' input, and we're not able to respond back, so we won't be able to address any of those questions here in court.
I'm hoping I hear. I'm hoping I hear later.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Later, individually, sure.
Thank you for your time.
Any other citizen input and or concerns?
We'll be right here again. We have, Tandy, you want to come here? This is the Becky Sermon Award that was presented by the Governmental Collectors Association of Texas to Tanya. She's handles our collections department, and what this award is she was nominated by 7 different people for this award, and what it is, it's an award that's given by somebody from out of this department that through the year has, I guess, obstacles, a lot of different kinds of obstacles that they overcome, and at the same time take care of their job and all of their personnel in their office and make it do. And the main thing is keep collecting money for the county, which she has done through quite a few obstacles this year. So we're proud to have you as part of our organization, and congratulations on this award. And this is one of many that she receives all the time. She does a great
Thank you, Tanya, you do a great job. Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Is there any other citizen input and or concerns? Hearing none, we'll consider to take action on agenda items 3 through 19. Number 3 is proclamation 18-033 declaring May as Elder Abuse Prevention Awareness Month.
Move to approve.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. You want to come up and receive? All right. Stand, maybe you'll stand right here.
Okay.
The camera doesn't catch much there, so let me read the proclamation first, and I'll give you the opportunity to speak. Whereas people who are elderly and have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Brazos County by helping to preserve the customs, convictions, traditions of many people from diverse backgrounds, and whereas the residents of vital and integral members of our society and their wisdom and experience have enriched our lives, and whereas abuse of elderly and people with disabilities in domestic and institutional settings is a widespread problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country, and whereas Texas APS in-home caseworkers in Brazos County have investigated 504 intakes, of which 363 cases of abuse, neglect, and exploitation were confirmed against the elderly. Texans are those with disabilities in 2017. Whereas elder abuse is grossly underreported because the elderly who are being abused find it very difficult to tell anyone and are usually ashamed and sometimes afraid. And whereas elder abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all cultural and ethnic groups, where they are in good health or incapacitated in some way, in poor neighborhoods, in suburbia, and whereas in many cases investigated by Adult Protective Services of Texas involve self-neglect, and it is our duty as citizens to reach out to these people in need. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Brazos County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the month of May 2018 as Elder Abuse Prevention Month in Brazos County, and urge all citizens to work together to help reduce neglect of people who are elderly and have disabilities. Proclaim this date May 29th of 2018. You come back around and stand over here and
Tiffany Woodard. Okay, thank you. I'm the supervisor here in the local office in Brazos County, and just alone in Brazos County, we receive about 30 intakes a month on people who are either abused or neglected. And elder abuse is underreported, and so we're just trying to get the word out that we do exist, and we are a resource here in the community. So, thank you.
Thank you for the work you do.
let's see, did we pass?
I don't think we voted, we just voted.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is Resolution 18-007 in support of the Texas Bullet Train.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
It'd be very hard for me to vote for this resolution. You know, there's not a map up here that shows the area that I represent in rural Brazos County. Probably half the rural area. I'm not saying that the bullet train is not something that will be needed one day, but I can tell you that between the oil companies, the pipelines, the highlands, right-of-way easements, want to restrict our water, surface rights. You know, every day you wake up in rural Brazos County, there's somebody else wanting to come through and do something on your property, and you don't have a whole lot to say so about it. You know, it bothers me that the government did not give the bullet train authority on eminent domain, so they partnered with Amtrak so they could have it, because Amtrak had it, and that's going around a way that I don't like. You know what? We don't have a dog in the hunt on this bullet train. It's not coming through Brazos County. It's just, I don't feel like it's something that we should make a determination on. And the other thing is, there's right of way. There's Interstate 45 that goes from Dallas to Houston. There's a way to use this right of way. If they want to put a bullet train, I'd be for it. You know, they show me that the route they're going, what's going to impact, the land's going to impact, whose land they're taking, what's going to happen to it, and that the taxpayer eventually is not going to have the burden to pay for it when it's 75 or 80% complete. Well, then we'd take a different look at it. Up until then, it'd be hard for me to vote for the resolution. And that's, I represent the rural part of Brazos. That's just what I feel about it.
Honorable Commissioners and Judge, I disagree with my colleague in that we have a dog in this hunt, in that this will provide economic and other options of travel to our constituents, and I think it's a great idea. I do disagree that property is being taken. It's my understanding that all properties are being paid for, and not just paid, but handsomely. I hope that my colleagues will read the reports. The report of Amtrak and the bullet train partnering allows additional services to be provided to those using the bullet train. Not only are we connected here in Texas, but with those additional services, we are connected nationally and worldwide, because our constituents cannot just book travel here in Brazos County, Houston, and Dallas, but they can do it national. They can also connect with other modes of transportation. So it's a great service, in my view, to the constituents. I think partnering and enhancing the services that the bullet train and Amtrak will provide to us is a great idea. I don't see that as a means of getting around, but I think it's a means of implementing and enhancing that Texas spirit of cooperation and doing what's best for our neighbors. I realize that some neighbors will be paid for their property. I don't have a problem with that. It's their property, and they should be compensated fairly.
Compensation sometimes can't make up the difference what you worked your entire life to build and to keep, and that you want to pass on to your families. You know, if you were in Grimes County or wherever this bullet train was coming through, you might feel a little different. Just like we had to fight power lines and pipelines and everything else that come through us. It's a little different depending on what side of the deal you're on.
You are so right. I am not an owner of the property in Grimes, but I do have a heart for those people, and I hope that they will join our good fortune and help promote the bullet train, because that also promotes Texas, and it's good for Texas. And not just Grimes County. Jobs are going to be offered there. Some of the people will be employed, but most of the people will have the opportunity, even myself, who's not a property owner. I can travel from Dallas, or travel from here to Dallas, or here to Houston, and I have family members on both ends, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, if you're gonna get on a bullet train, if you're gonna get on a train at Grimes County somewhere, you have to get from here to there, and you get on the train.
That's true.
Then you go from wherever you're going, and you get there. You got to figure out another way to get where you're going from there. So I guess they're gonna have different arteries to.
I imagine that they will, sir, because they are a progressive thinking company, and I think the benefits will outweigh any disadvantages. And I really don't see any disadvantages. Owners are going to be paid. Owners are going to be compensated. No one suffers.
Yes, that's not a correct statement. Believe me, you let that bullet train come through, there will be people that were suffering, that have worked their whole life to get where they are and to have what they had. Just be taken away from them, they can't do anything about it.
I disagree.
That's the difference.
I
think when it goes through those properties, it'll be elevated, and the cattle and livestock will be able to go under the bullet train. I think it's also a great economic boon to our community with the opening of the Rellis campus. Students can commute to Rellis from Dallas and Houston, and I suspect A&M will have bus service to the
Commissioner Berry, I don't want to get the wrong idea here. I'm not against progress, you know, but in today's world, and as fast as the world's going today, a student that's going to go to school at Rellis campus is not going to get on a train. By the time that train gets built, they'll have their own plane.
Well, you do have a point, but we're not building the bullet train for today. We're building the bullet train for future, which of course, we wouldn't think that they're gonna have the train built in a year. It's gonna take a while.
I'm not anti-bullet train. I'm just I want them to prove to me how it's going to be built, where it's going to be built, and who's going to pay for it.
Private sector's going to pay for it. It's not going to ask any investment from governments. That's one of the attractions to it. It's privately built and paid for.
Exactly.
I call the question.
Commissioners, I have been an advocate for high-speed rail in Texas for quite some time. We've talked about high-speed rail in Texas for decades. And this particular project, Texas Central Railway, is the first time that I'm aware of that this has been this is completely a free enterprise. There will be the legislative session, the 85th legislative session. There were a number of bills that were talked about and passed. I think from a perspective of the fact that in our state that we would have the first high-speed rail, to me this is like Southwest Airlines on the ground at 205 miles per hour, and I'm not real sure. I would rather us be supportive of what this will bring to the state of Texas as opposed to being negative, because I still have questions. My suggestion would be is many of these questions have been asked. There's been a lot of misinformation that's been put out in the public about a number of the questions that you bring up, Commissioner Catalina, and I would hope that in the process of your deliberation you would find that you have the ability to have those questions answered, and I hope that you will. I have always been a proponent of free enterprise, having the opportunity to risk capital and make sure that they have the opportunity to provide something that's a service to us. And of all of the routes, from what I understand, that Texas Central Railway looked at in the United States of America, this was their priority #1 route. And I've got to be supportive of that, because I think that as Texas continues to grow, we're the fastest growing state in the country, and as Brazos County continues to grow, having these types of things, if you take a look at connecting Walker County and Brazos County, Sam Houston State University, Texas A&M University, and now with the Rellis campus, Texas A&M University system, these are things that will take some time to be worked out. There will still be questions that will need to be asked and answered. But I, for one, have been a proponent of free enterprise having the opportunity, well regulated through the Federal Railroad Administration, just like the airlines are regulated through the Transportation Safety Administration and the Federal Aviation. And I think that this is something that I can easily be supportive of, because I think it's good for Texas, and I think it's good for Brazos County as well.
Okay, questions, we call for. No more discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 5 is Resolution 18-008, authorizing grant application for Regional Solid Waste Grant Program grant.
Move approval.
Second. Motion made, seconded. know you need to be involved in the grant process. I think this is just kind of a grant application, but we'll still have the opportunity to vet it and make sure that everything's okay.
I can address that, sir. This is not it's not deviating from our process. What we have before us today, 18-008 is a resolution stating or giving authority to the person interested in proposing the grant, putting the grant together. We have to have approval from this body before we can ask for the grant. So that's all that we're doing. We're not the grant, this is not the grant, this is not stating anything except you are giving authority, this body, is giving authority to the person named to head the procurement, I guess that is. It is not deviating or laying down the grant terms. It simply says that there's a person responsible to make sure that this application, that this grant is implemented. That's all. And we have, this is the procedure that the COG has given us, and we honored that in previous grant applications. This is the first step.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 6 is request authorization to wire transfer Texas Health and Human Services Commission funds available and allowed during FY 2018 from institutional health care providers participating in the URIP program. Funds requested are for Uniform Hospital Rate Increase Program, the URIP, and the amount to be transferred is $2,688,540.35.
I move approval.
504? Okay.
State for the record, Irene, would you state the correct amount, but I do move approval.
$2,688,504.35.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is payment authorization to Layton Resource Company, LLC, Southern Cement Slurry, in the amount of $8,775 for cement slurry for road and bridge. Amount of the invoice exceeded the purchase order. Second. Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is payment authorization to Galls in the amount of $98 for uniform purchases for Constable Precinct 4. A purchase order was not obtained in advance. Second. Motion made, second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is payment authorization to Myers Tire Supply Distribution, Inc. in the amount of $25.74 for tire tools for fleet. Purchase order was closed prior to processing payment.
Second.
Motion made, second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None motion carries. Number 10 is interlocal agreement between City of College Station, Brazos County regarding Rock Prairie West.
Second.
Made second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. I think that's a good project. It's a county road that we've upgraded a little more than what we would typically do for a county road, but both sides of it, both ends of it, the 1,500 foot are to city specs, and so I think this is a way that we could make it all look the same and go through that area, the county area, and so I'm happy that we're able to get it worked out, and thank you, Dave, for your input.
Sir, thank you all very much, appreciate it.
Yes.
Judge, if I may, I wanted to thank the Commissioners Court and particularly you, Judge, in your involvement in this. and on behalf of the residents of Precinct 1, this will allow for continuity of the type of passage that school children and parents will need once that elementary school opens up at the western, further west of this section with City of College Station and College Station ISD, and I really appreciate this. I think this is a great collaborative venture for the city and the county to work together, so thank you.
Okay. Number 12 is approval.
11.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 11 is approval of agreement of limited access to local control for FirstNet. This agreement would give Brazos County first responders the opportunity to take personal phones to AT&T at their own expense and be on FirstNet network order to better serve the community.
Move to approve.
Second discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 12 is approval of amendment to contract 18-041 merchant services with JetPay.
Move approval.
Motion made second discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 13 is award of RFP 18-094 pharmaceuticals and approval of the resulting contract. Recommended award is to Contract Pharmacy. Second. Motion made second discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 14 is the award of bid number 18-121 hot mix. Recommended award is Knife River items 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 14. Larry Young Paving, items 1, 3, 5, 9, and 11. And Brazos Paving, Inc., item 13, for the City of College Station. Second. Motion made second discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15, expenditure journal entries FY17/18, 050075 through 050086, and 060001.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 16 is tax refund application for the following.
I move approval A, B, and C.
Second.
Motion made seconded, A, B, and C. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 17 is budget amendments. Budget amendments FY 17/18, 34.1 through 34.7.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 18 is personnel change status.
Move approval.
Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries.
Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, on number 6, you were right, it was 40. I need to go back to that number.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Okay.
The number 19 is payment of claims. Claims number 8004194 through 8004405. Second. Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None motion carries. We'll go back up to number 6, and, let me see if I can get you right this time. I think the number is $2,688,540.35. Is that correct? Is you correct?
Move amendment to 6, stating that.
I think that's, is that my motion? Well, I'll second it.
Okay. There's a motion made to, and seconded to amend the previous motion to correct the dollar value. And you got that dollar value, I guess? All in
Thank
favor-
you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll first go ahead and go through, number 20, Sheriff's report on the inmate population. Sure.
All right, thank you, Judge, Commissioner. Our peak in the last 24 hours is 630 inmates. 531 of those are male, 99 are female. We have 39 with electronic monitors and 10 pending.
Sheriff, notice, the numbers are starting to creep up. Is that typical this time of year?
It is. All the clerks are functioning well and things are moving through the criminal justice system. So, yeah, we expect that to continue.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Number 21 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics. Hearing none, calls for citizens' input and/or concerns. Hearing none, we'll move to the addendum that was posted. It's to convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the positions of risk manager and human resources director. It is 10:39. We need the commissioners and Candy, the attorneys, Jennifer. Anybody else that we need? I think that's it. And we'll go into the next section.
Thank